Let's speak now to Mike Moriarty, the DA's Gauteng Chairperson. Mike, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. So you reckon John Moodey is lying about racism within the DA?
Yeah, look, the fact of the matter is that we're the most diverse party in the country, and reflected both in the support as far as votes are concerned and also in the composition of our rank and file, our leadership and membership and the people that lead our structures. So to the extent that it's not backed by evidence, yes, Mr. Moodey is wrong.
Yet you have three people recently leaving, namely Mmusi Maimane, as well as Herman Mashaba, and now John Moodey, all black people, saying that they're leaving because they're not happy with the way in which the party handles situations like this. They all also cite problems with Helen Zille and her tweets.
Yeah, look, what I would say to you is that, yes, people do come, people do go. They're not all black. It can't be just ascribed to race. There is a difference of opinion amongst people within the DA. These differences are aired and debated within our structures, and that's where it should be. The problem is when it spills out into the public domain, and then people then have to resort to various things, attacking each other, and then it gets out of hand. I don't know to what extent that kind of behavior influenced this particular matter that is now under disciplinary processes. But, it's unfortunate that our Federal Legal Commission does get quite a few of these disciplinary complaints. Mr. Moodey is the subject of one of them, and in the face of that, he's now left the party.
There's one common factor here, Mike, and the name is Helen Zille.
Well, to what you're saying in respect of Mr. Maimane and Mr. Mashaba and John Moodey, yes, they've all mentioned Helen by name. There are other people that are in the party because of Helen Zille. There are people that, yes, may or may not have issues with Helen Zille, but recognize that she's a person that has run a province very, very well. Has obviously skills and talents that have seen her through, and she makes her opinions very, very strongly, and she doesn't run nor hide. And some people have issues with those, and to the extent that if you have an issue and you can't live with it, you can't resolve it, then obviously then you're going to decide you're going to leave the party.
So when do you rein Helen Zille in? Because, I mean, she went as far as tweeting back in June that there are more racist laws today than there were under apartheid, and this will naturally make people unhappy. And it's clearly people within your organization who are still members of the DA.
Okay, so Helen tweets those things, amongst many, many things that she does in a working day over weeks and months of good work that she's done, but she has to answer for those particular tweets. John Moodey has had to face charges for the issues that he's involved in, Helen Zille herself has had to face those charges, and her process is before the Federal Legal Commission, and a hearing is imminent. So what the DA should be commended for is not running away from issues and infractions when they occur, and it doesn't matter how big or small you are in the party. If you cross the line, you will find yourself confronted with things like charge sheets, with things like disciplinary hearings, and you then have to answer the charges. Helen Zille finds herself in that position as well.
And outside the charges that she's currently facing, given that you have a choir of people saying that they're not happy with the return of Helen Zille and what she tweets or what she does within the party, do you then not investigate whether or not she's the right person for this job?
Well, the place to do that is in an electoral contest. Helen Zille won fair and square in October last year. She now faces another electoral contest on the 1st of November. And it's then for the people of the Democratic Alliance to decide whether or not she's been all of the good things that there are evidently good things that she's done, or whether there are things in her performance that should be counted against her, and hence somebody would vote for an opponent, or whether or not there is a better person that Helen Zille is experienced and as good as she is in various things. Is there another candidate that can do better work in the role that is being contested here, the chairperson of the Federal Council? And that will be decided on the 1st of November. And I think that that's the right way a democratic party should operate. And that's where it would happen, John.
It looks like, Helen Zille's return is leading to the demise of the DA. What do you think?
No, definitely not.
But you have so many leaders who have left because she's back.
All three of them?
Yeah.
There are
all three black leaders, and that's the important part for the DA, isn't it?
The DA, and you're talking about three people that left. I would put to you, Shahan, the real test of whether or not there is or isn't a problem is in elections and in polling data. Our polling data is showing that we're very strong at the moment. We are the one party that, A, is very diverse and hence is the most suitable party on that basis to run a diverse country like South Africa, has demonstrated its ability to govern, has not found itself mired in the corruption that the ANC does, and in a situation where we have somewhere between 10 and 13 million people unemployed, a government that does not seem to have certainty as far as policy is concerned and unable to do the reforms that are necessary to rescue the country. This country is crying for hope, and the DA is in the best place to provide that hope, and certainly it's being borne out in the polls.
Yeah, let's just be careful.
I'm not deterred by the people who have issue with Helen Zille.
Let's just be careful about what we say, though, because the ANC is, of course, under scrutiny right now, but not every metro in this country that they run is a disaster. That's not true, not factually correct anyway. But given what we've seen from the black leaders, and I'm talking about black leaders because the DA has been trying to diversify for years now, but you had all of these people who you punted as your black leaders for years, and they're now gone because of Helen Zille.
Shahan, you talk about three people that have left. What about
three prominent people, Mike? Not just three people, three prominent people.
Yes, and we've got prominent people that have stayed. We've got prominent people like Salim Simanga, who's now taken over from John Moodey here in the province of Gauteng. You've got prominent leaders in Nelson Mandela Bay in the form of Nqabanga, who stood for re-election and has been re-elected in the Eastern Cape. You've got Bonginkosi Madikizela. You've got Noma French and Bombo. I can go on forever with lots and lots of people. They happen to be black, and they're all proudly DA, and they're doing very, very well in their jobs. And it's something that we can be proud of as a party. But what we can't do is be held back by three individuals.
Yeah. And let's talk about your disastrous coalitions then, because this is another thing that you're going to have to deal with when you go into the next municipal elections. How do you actually pick up the pieces, try to win over black voters when you have black leaders who leave?
I'm not quite following your question, but can I just address the issue of coalitions? Yes, there are lessons that we've had to learn. And so to your point that coalitions that were supposed to have held together for the full 5-year term did come apart at various places. But there are good reasons that we're aware of, and there's some things that we would then do differently going forward. And, there's no doubt the ANC will be below 50% in the next election in many, many municipalities. There will have to be coalitions. So we're going to have to do it, and we're going to have to do it well. And that's what we intend to do because we think that that's what the country needs. Country needs for the ANC to be unseated.
Let me ask you a very direct question, and it might sound a bit sensationalist, but given what the people who have left are saying, this is the picture that's been painted for the public. Is Helen Zille the wicked witch of the DA?
No, Helen Zille, quite frankly, is very talented. She does great work. She's demonstrated it in the province of the Western Cape and let's be honest. I mean, the times of great growth for the DA happened when she was the leader. She has opinions, she has opinions that some of which there are many of her opinions I agree with, but there are some that I don't agree with, and that's why she's answering for those tweets. She's very strong in her views, and some people find that too much. In this politics, you've got to be strong as an individual, all of us. And to whether we agree or disagree with Helen, she will respect somebody who, in the face of a strong opinion from Helen Zille, comes back equally strong, with logic, with reason, grounded in the values and the principles. If it makes sense, it's evidence-based, Helen Zille is capable of being persuaded on various matters. That I've experienced.
I mean, evidence-based when she tweeted that we have more apartheid rules now than before. There's no evidence in that. But let's move on from that very quickly. What's the way forward?
Remember, Shahan, she's facing disciplinary for that matter.
Yeah, since June. What's happened? You've been saying that she's facing disciplinary. When do we hear an answer on the outcome of that?
Pretty soon. You'll get it pretty soon, Shahan. But here's the thing. Please give us the benefit of lockdown. Our FLC rules required physical hearings, and it was in the last month or two that we managed to change and get the decision to go for virtual. And these are unusual times, and that's been the cause of the delay.
All right. I hope to hear that decision quite soon. Mike Moriarty, the DA's Gauteng Chairperson.